الو مرحبا عمو.
انتوا مش عايزين تدخلوا علينا.
الو مرحبا.
ايوه تدخلوا علينا، الدبابة جنبي.
انتوا متخبيين؟
في السيارة احنا جنبينا الدبابة، الدبابة جنبي.
انتوا متخبيين؟
في السيارة احنا جنبينا الدبابة.
انتوا جوا السيارة؟ الو الو
خذيني تعالي.
اجي اخذك؟
ماما تعالي. اشتريني حاجة بالأمانة.
حبيبتي طيب ما انا يا حبيبتي رح اجي اخذك. هلا عمو من الهلال عماله عم بنصك عشان احنا نقدر نيجي ناخذك. حواليكي في ضرب رصاص؟
خذيني
يا حبيبتي والله بدي اخذك بس مش بايدي هلا.
They cannot break us, they cannot shake us. Patiently waiting for guaranteed freedom. You can take our homes, but we will remain strong. 'Cause Allah's on our side, and He's where we belong. Palestine, Palestine, wipe those tears from those saddened eyes. Palestine, Palestine, Jannah waits for your innocent life. Palestine, Palestine, we'll be free at Palestine. Oh, we feel it, we all feel your pain, your pain. Palestine, Palestine, we'll be free at Palestine. Oh, believe in the one who protects your faith. You can do no harm, even with your bombs. You have the big tanks, but we have Allah. You are the tyrants through all your violence. We have the Ummah, and we won't be silenced. Palestine, Palestine, wipe those tears from those saddened eyes. Palestine, Palestine, Jannah waits for your innocent lives. Palestine, Palestine, we'll be free at Palestine. Oh, we feel it, we all feel your pain, your pain. Palestine, Palestine, we'll be free at Palestine. Oh, believe in the one who protects your faith. In the eyes of the children is the courage of millions. Rise up, Palestinians. If you call, Allah listens. Palestine, Palestine, we'll be free at Palestine. Oh, we feel it, we all feel your pain, your pain. Palestine, Palestine, we'll be free at Palestine. Oh, believe in the one who protects your faith. Palestine, Palestine, we'll be free at Palestine.
We demand a ceasefire.
30,000 children have been killed by Israel in Gaza. 300,000 children have been killed by Israel in Gaza. There are no more children left in Gaza. This is where we are heading. I don't know what the death toll of children will be before we get a ceasefire. Whilst the UK government squabble and embarrass themselves in front of the world, and the United States fund and arm and enable Israel's ethnic cleansing to continue, the staggering figure of child casualties continues to rise. What we have seen in the past 4 months is an unprecedented amount of indiscriminate murder and the massacre of innocent children that far exceeds any other conflict zone in recent history. 13,000 dead and thousands unaccounted for, buried under the rubble. Not only that, Israel has been specifically targeting schools, hospitals, playgrounds, and other facilities that should be there to support and nurture children in order to completely devastate the hopes and dreams that every child is entitled to. This is shown when we have international doctors saying that the psychological damage is causing children as young as 5 to say that they would prefer to be dead. As Gaza is devastated by these attacks, 1.9 million Palestinians have been displaced and now are in threat of severe famine and disease. The number of children dead is only going to rise. Nearly 1.5 million Palestinians have sought refuge in Rafah, covering an area of 64 square kilometers due to the attacks in northern, central and southern Gaza. According to United Nations data, the population of Rafah, which was 280,000 before October 7th, has increased by more than 5 times due to the migration of displaced Palestinians, revealing that more than half of Gaza's population has sought refuge in a small piece of land. Due to the lack of adequate housing, the majority of Palestinians in Rafah live in makeshift tents, struggling to survive. The Israeli government has been signalling a ground attack on Rafah. They've been telling every 10th of March they're going in. If Rafah is attacked, Palestinians taking refuge will face even more difficult days. Now, the brutality of Israel is highlighted by the story of Hind Rajab. She was killed in a car whilst waiting to be rescued by the Red Crescent. After they left to rescue her in an ambulance, all communication with them was cut off. There was a phone call made by Hind and her family member. It's in Arabic, but you'll be able to hear the emotion. We're going to play it for you, and Corey's going to try and give you some context for those that don't speak Arabic.
They are dead. Are they dead? Yes. Are they in the car with you now? Yes. Where are you hiding now? In the car? You're in the car, not outside, right? Yes. Stay in the car, sweetie. I'm going to stay on the phone, talking to you. I won't hang up, okay? Okay. The tank is next to me. Where is the tank? Next to me. Is the tank near you? Yes. Is it moving or is it still? Did someone get out of it? Yes, it's moving. Is it moving next to the car or coming from behind or in front? From in front of the car. The tank is coming at you from the front? Yes. Is it very close? Yes, very, very close. Is it moving? Yes. Okay, don't be scared. Please stay with me. I'm with you. I'm with you until someone comes to take you. I will not leave you alone. When someone comes and gets me, you can hang up. No, I want to stay with you until I am sure someone from the Crescent or anyone else came and get you. I won't hang up. Even if the soldiers, God forbid, come, I won't hang up. I'm here with you. Please come and take me. Please. Please stay with me. Darling, I swear I'm with you. I'm here talking with you. I won't hang up. What's the time? What is the time? It's almost night. It's almost night and I'm scared. Come and get me, please. Darling, I swear if I would come and get you. Say, Ya Allah. Ya Allah? God protect us. God protect us.
So what happened after that? Hind was murdered in the car, while she waited for the Red Crescent to come and save her. The Red Crescent had spoke to the IDF and told her, we're going to go and rescue this girl. And they gave them safe passage to do so. What did the IDF do? They bombed the ambulance. They bombed the ambulance. Got Keir Starmer here messing around with the Speaker of the Commons, and you've got Rishi Sunak profiting whilst ambulances are being bombed. 12 days later, they were able to rescue her body and the other bodies that were in the car. The car was multiple bullet holes in it. The ambulance was bombed. I don't know what else to say. It's just ridiculous. Where do we have to go to get a ceasefire? What kind of humanity is this? Are human rights in the UK bullshit?
Out in the sticks in the county from which people haven't come to express solidarity. Now, I've been involved in Palestine solidarity since the 1960s. And of course, since that time, we've seen all sorts of examples of Israeli aggression and brutality. Wars, invasions, occupations, collective punishments. But I don't think any of us have seen anything approaching the savagery of what the Israelis have been doing in Gaza. The apparent willingness, well, more than willingness, to go on killing and killing and killing and maiming. And people, I think quite rightly, ask themselves, where does this violence come from? And I think there are explanations from history which are especially important for us here in this country. Because let's not forget that the State of Israel owes its origins to decisions taken in this country around the time of the First World War, the Balfour Declaration, which I think people have heard about. And at that time, Winston Churchill, who people have heard about, said, and I use his words, that he thought a Jewish homeland in Palestine would be a very good thing for the empire. And he meant the British Empire. And from the time that the beginnings of what became the State of Israel were being put in place in Palestine, the leaders of the Zionist movement could observe a British state and its methods in its colonies. In Gaza today, we're witnessing a genocide. But it's not the first genocide in history, because the British state had been involved in genocides over the centuries. It was Britain that perpetrated a genocide in the Caribbean, liquidating the indigenous population. It was Britain and other European states that forced the indigenous American people out of their homes as the colonising movement swept west. It was Britain, of course, that perpetrated the genocide of the Aboriginal people of Australia. There's a very, very long history of genocides, particularly in colonial settler states. And that's exactly, of course, what Israel is today. And when we ask where the drive for the violence in Gaza comes from, I think we can look at people in the right wing of the Zionist movement who learned over the generations from the British. People like Netanyahu and his extreme right-wing ministers, who are clearly the people driving what's going on. And there's something very interesting about them. People like Ben Gvir and the other ministers of the extreme right. Their biggest base, their biggest electoral base in Israel is in the occupied territory of the West Bank, the place where the latest episodes of colonial settle activity are taking place most aggressively. Their thoughts about driving the Palestinian people out of Gaza, their thoughts about a Nakba 2 rest in a certain sort of history. And I think that gives us in Britain special responsibilities. I think it's vital that we continue to organise our local and national demonstrations in the way that we do. Vital because, as we've just heard from Bilal, our leaders must be held to account. And the pressure that's being brought on them by the demonstrations taking place week after week and month after month is really, really showing. The shenanigans in the House of Commons are about the immense pressure being brought on MPs from around the country by ordinary people who feel we can't take it anymore. And there's one other thing I want to say about our solidarity. It may be the case that when we have giant demonstrations in London, they don't get broadcast on the BBC News. But let me say that they are beamed all across the Middle East by Al Jazeera. Now, I'm in contact with people in Ramallah in the West Bank, and they say you need to know that every time there's another mass demonstration in London of hundreds of thousands, people in Gaza and people in the West Bank are looking at those demonstrations and understanding that despite everything, they are not alone. We must continue. We need to stand shoulder to shoulder with our Palestinian brothers and sisters. There will be a future for Palestine. There will be a future of hope. Thank you.
I'll tell you who the writer is afterwards because it's escaped my mind. I need to look it up. Okay, so this poem is particularly apt for today and why we're all here. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Use the black permanent marker with the ink that doesn't bleed. If it gets wet, the one that doesn't melt if it's exposed to heat. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Make the lines thick and clear. Add your special flourishes so I can take comfort in seeing my Mama's handwriting when I go to sleep. Write my name on my leg, Mama, and on the legs of my sisters and brothers. This way we will belong together. This way we will be known as your children. Write my name on my leg, Mama, and please write your name and Baba's name on legs too, so we will be remembered as a family. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Don't add any numbers, like when I was born or the address of our home. I don't want the world to list me as a number. I have a name, and I am not a number. Write my name on my leg, Mama. When the bomb hits our house, when the walls crush our skulls and bones, our legs will tell our story of how there was nowhere to run. Sorry, the poem is by Zania Azali.
Palestine! 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 Occupation no more! Occupation no more! Occupation no more!
Socialist Workers Party.
Blimey, thank you. Last week, watching the telly, there was a Tory politician saying on the telly, why is all this discussion going on in Parliament about Palestine and Gaza? It's thousands of miles away. It's got nothing to do with us. We should be talking about what happens here. Well, as Phil just pointed out, not only does Britain have a historic responsibility for what's happening in Palestine now, but actually we have a current responsibility. There are factories in Wimborne, Southampton, Bristol, various other places actually supplying the weapons and the arms to commit genocide in Palestine. We are directly connected to this. The profits made by a British company in slaughter is absolute disgrace. We have to put the pressure on to stop all arms sales to Israel. They can't deny responsibility. They are directly responsible for a lot of what's happening here. Also, I had a conversation last Saturday in town with a Zionist who was trying to persuade me that Palestine didn't exist. That in fact the idea of Palestine and Palestinians was a myth. Interesting actually that the British in the 1930s had a mandate to rule the world. And it was, funnily enough, called the Palestine Mandate. But if you think about genocide, genocide has three elements. One element is denying people their land, driving people off their land, as Phil was saying, what was done to the Native Americans back in the 18th and 19th centuries. The second thing is the slaughter of people. There was somebody on TV this morning saying that actually the death rate in Gaza is far higher than any other post-war war. Now, if you think about as a percentage of population, now if you think about what that compares with, Vietnam, Korea, various other wars, this is an absolute outrage. The stealing of land and the killing of people, but there's one other element. It is the denial of identity. The denial of identity is one where you get rid of the idea of Palestine. Well, I think we are all here today, seen many of you on demonstrations before. We will not let the idea of Palestine die. And the courage of the Palestinians in refusing to be driven off their land, in refusing to let Palestine die, is an absolute amazing example. The suffering is immense, but the courage is greater. I say we have one task, immediate task. Well, actually, two tasks. We have to find justice for Palestinians, but we have a very immediate task. The assault on Rafah will be a bloodbath. We know this. It is appalling that it is even being considered. 1.25 million people. We have to campaign like mad to stop the attack on Rafah. And we have to campaign on the streets, through our politicians or whatever else, in any way we can. The attack on Rafah has to be stopped. And actually, the Americans and the British understand the problem. If the attack on Rafah goes ahead, those puppet rulers in the Middle East who support American imperialism, who supported the British in the past, their positions will come under threat if the attack on Rafah goes ahead. The Americans know this, the British know this, that's why they're trying to put pressure on. But the more pressure we can put on from below, the greater the chance we can stop the assault on Rafah. That's our task. Free!
Terrorist state! We are all Palestinians! 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 Palestine! 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 Palestine!
I wanted to say two things. The first one is, I heard the other day, and this was a while ago, that if you scaled up the number of dead children killed by Israeli forces in Gaza in the last 130 odd days, if you scaled it up as per population for British children, it would be somewhere near 140,000. Also, if you remember, led by donkeys were here a little while ago and laid out 5 kilometres worth of clothing on the beach to represent every Palestinian child killed. Think how much longer that is today. Also, one small part. My phone is full of cute cats and dead children. It's all I can do to keep from scrolling away in favour of a kitten lolling in a sunbeam or doing tricks for a piece of bacon. It's all I can do to watch to the end of the clip of the boy in Gaza harvesting inedible leaves, insisting they are cheeseweed. He fills a bag and will not believe the journalist who tells him, "No, Habibi, you cannot eat them." He is starving. Outside, the sun is shining. I could take a walk or eat an apple from the fridge, while elsewhere bombs are falling. Snipers drop poets and doctors in the streets. We watch it all unfolding between our thumbs. And is it doom scrolling or truth porn or bearing witness? And are we Romans watching and screaming and as the arena fills with blood?
Thinking, what can I do this week to help the people in Gaza? Very good question. You're here for one, so thank you all for showing up today. This is really important that we keep being here, and we know that they know that we're out here. You know, these things get through. All of these people around the country and around the world every week who are marching, we're sending our love and our support to the people in Gaza, and we're hoping that they can feel that and that they can see that, and that in some small way that might help them. We've got things that we can do practically on our own, so as well as attending things like this, we also ask you to share your voice and share what is happening on your social media. If you're on social media, whatever platform you're on, we've all got different people following us. Whoever is on your feed needs to see what's going on. So share stuff. If there's a petition, share the petition. If there's a video, if there's something personal to you about your experience and how this is affecting you, we need to keep the conversation going. Somebody might not be impacted by what they heard on the news. They also are being lied to constantly by the news, but they might be impacted by what you tell them. So really make the most of your voice in this conflict. Consider forming a group in your workplace or at your university if there isn't one already. Wear your badges and your keffiyeh when you're out and about. We all know what this means. If you see somebody else with a Palestine flag badge or a kafir on, it's a show of solidarity and it keeps the conversation going. So not just at the demonstrations, folks, we want you wearing them all the time. You can also write to your local MP. We have links on our social media. So if you go to Palestine Solidarity Movement on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, then you'll find links from Humanity Project of emails that you can send to your MP. We know they're not listening, so we need to be louder. The fact that our MPs aren't listening does not mean that we stop shouting at them. It means we need to shout more and we need to shout louder. They need to know that they will lose their seats if they don't sort themselves out and vote for a ceasefire. Finally, we'll ask you to share and enjoy and look up art and culture and other Palestinian things that you can promote and you can get involved in, incorporate in your life. Recipes, look up Palestinian recipes, look up Palestinian companies that you might be able to support. Anything that you can do that helps to promote Palestine to your friends and family and helps to support the Palestinian people. And if you have some spare money, then please do consider donating it to an organisation like Medical Aid for Palestine or UNRWA, who will be able to use that to buy really important aid. If you want to suggest anything for us to do locally, please come and speak to somebody in one of these high-vis vests, because all suggestions are welcome, and the more creative the better. Anything you think we can be doing to help our brothers and sisters in Palestine, we want to be doing it. So I think we're ready to march now.
Disgusting people, and they are complicit. We are not complicit. The British public, 70% want a ceasefire. We are not complicit. They are. This week, MPs are going to try and take a motion to suppress any protesting. They're using racism to do that. Yes, there has been protests outside MPs' offices, which is totally illegal. I've heard through the grapevine there was one that happened at an MP's house. I don't know anything about that, but that happened. Again, it's legal. At the end of the day, you are peaceful protesters here protesting against genocide, and they're weaponizing that, and they're using communities here to push their own agenda for racism, so we're not going to stand for it. Today, there are rules around this march, because we need to keep you safe. There are stewards in yellow jackets dotted all around. Please stay together with them on the outside. If you experience a hate crime, if you experience racism, your instinct is to go to the police. Hand up, find a yellow jacket, then go to the police, okay? We're here to keep everyone safe. If you experience anyone else, stop, listen to what's being said, listen to the hate crime so you can report it properly to the police, okay?
Ever forget why we are here. There's a genocide going on, there's an ethnic cleansing going on, despite what the media might say, despite what the politicians might say, because they are all complicit. And it starts from the top and it works all the way down to the police. They don't want us. They're trying to shut us down. They're trying to shut us down. There you go. They're trying to shut us down. Every week they're trying to shut us down. They don't want us out here. But we won't stop. Yep. Why won't we stop? Because there's innocent women, children, men being slaughtered in exchange for money. And that's ultimately what it is. I don't care what laws they bring out. I don't care what laws you bring out. Yep. We're going to keep demonstrating. Yep. Eventually it will end up at the police station. They ain't got enough officers. They ain't got enough officers. They can't arrest us all. There's a genocide and an ethnic cleansing going on. Never forget that.